Hi children, hope all are fine. In page number 4 here we stopped up to algae we discussed yesterday and even something more I said about photosynthesis. Okay, see the next heading you can see here, synthesis of plant food other than carbohydrates. And here many times I just suggested you while you watch the video, whatever the subject it may be, make sure that your book is opened and make use of the book while watching the video. Synthesis of plant food other than carbohydrates. You have just learned that plants synthesize or prepare carbohydrates through the process of photosynthesis. Already we learned something more about photosynthesis. The carbohydrates are made of, we know very well, carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Carbohydrates are made of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. And these carbons, hydrogen and oxygen are used to prepare other components of food like fats and proteins. But proteins are nitrogenous substances which contain nitrogen. And nitrogenous substance, I just the word is given here. Proteins are nitrogenous substances which contains nitrogen. From where do the plants obtain nitrogen? Proteins doesn't have nitrogen. Then where do the plants get? Where do the plants get nitrogen? And one more thing you know very well. In the air, what is something more? Nitrogen is more. Am I right? But plants can't absorb nitrogen directly from the air. With the help of the roots, from the soil they absorb nitrogen. That is what they mentioned in the next paragraph. As I told you, the most abundant element in the atmosphere, and that is nitrogen. But plants cannot absorb nitrogen directly from the air. Then where do they get the nitrogen? From the soil. And how do they get nitrogen from the soil? And that is what it is mentioned in the next paragraph. Recall that nitrogen is present in abundance in gaseous form in the air. Already I said you. The element nitrogen is more while comparing to other elements. It is more in the air. However, plants cannot absorb nitrogen in this form. Just now I said no, plants cannot absorb nitrogen in gaseous form from the air. Soil has certain bacteria that convert gaseous nitrogen into a usable form and release it into the soil. Note down that point. Just underline. Soil has certain bacteria that I have already told you. Soil has different kinds of nutrients such as macro and microorganisms. Organisms such as macro and microorganisms. And these bacteria that convert gaseous nitrogen to a usable form and release it into the soil. And these are absorbed by the plants along with the water. Along with the water from the soil, this form of nitrogen is absorbed by the plants. I repeat, soil has certain bacteria and that convert this gaseous nitrogen to a usable form, and the usable form for the plants, and release it in the soil. So along with the water from the soil, the plants absorb nitrogen. Also, you might have seen farmers adding fertilizers rich in nitrogen to the soil. And one more thing you might have seen, farmers, they add nitrogen in the field and along with in the form of fertilizers. In this way, the plants fulfill their requirements of nitrogen along with the other constituents. Plants can then synthesize or prepare proteins and vitamins. As I told you, plants cannot absorb the gaseous nitrogen from the air. Then how do they absorb? Some certain bacteria in the soil, it transforms this gaseous nitrogen to a form and release it in the soil, and the plants along with the water they absorb nitrogen. Do you understand? And the second way, along with the fertilizers, farmers they use these farmers, they use nitrogen in the field. It is given here. As you might have seen, farmers adding fertilizers rich in nitrogen, and such kind of fertilizers what the farmers add in the field, it contains more nitrogen, and that too helps the plants in fulfilling the need of nitrogen. Okay, see. Other mode of nutrition in plants. Now all we were discussing about autotrophs, and what are autotrophs you know very well, and even what are heterotrophs also you know very well. Okay, see. Other modes of nutrition in plants. There are some plants which do not have chlorophyll. Note down that point. If chlorophyll is not there in the plant, definitely they cannot prepare, they cannot synthesize food through photosynthesis. Then how do they grow? How do they get all these nutrients, whatever they need for growth? Yeah, that is what we are going to discuss. There are some plants which do not have chlorophyll. They cannot synthesize food. As I told you, if chlorophyll is not there in the plant, that plant cannot prepare or cannot synthesize food for themselves. They have to depend on some of the other plants, and they are called the parasites, and that is what we are going to discuss. How do they survive, and from where do they derive nutrition? Just now it is mentioned here. Already some plants, they do not have chlorophyll, and they cannot prepare food for themselves. Then how do they get the nutrients to grow? Okay, see. Like humans and animals, such plants depend on the food produced by other plants, and they use the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Underline. Some of the plants, just like animals and the human beings, no, they depend on other plants in order to get the nutrition, and they use heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Underline. And one example is given here, Cascula. So Cascuta, it is called the parasite. See, you might have seen in nearby, the main tree is here, and the parasite is gone there. It's grown here. You can see here. Cascuta. See, it's a parasite. Look at figure number 1.5. Do you see a long wiry branch structure twining around the stem and branches of a tree? This is a plant called a Cascuta. Amarable is given in brackets. It may be the native name. It doesn't have chlorophyll. It takes ready-made food from the plant on which it is climbing. Here, it has climbed on one of the other trees, and it gets ready-made food from the host. Do you understand? Is it clear for you? And such kind of plants follow heterotrophic nutrition, mode of nutrition. See, it takes ready-made food from the plant on which it is climbing. In which plant it is climbing, from there it gets the food, the ready-made food. Okay, see. The plants on which it climbs is called the host. This tree is called the host because this Cascuta, it climbed on a tree, and the tree is called the host. Since it deprives the host of valuable nutrients, Cascuta is called a parasite, and it's an example for parasite. So you have to underline this, and the name of this plant which doesn't have chlorophyll is called the Cascuta. Are we and other animals also kind of parasites? You should think about it, discuss with your teacher. And Paheli wants to know whether mosquitoes, bedbugs, lice and leeches that suck our blood are also parasites. She has a doubt. And we are discussing about nutrition in plants. When we come to this area, nutrition in animals, I may get the answer. See. And next we are going to learn about insectivorous plants. Insectivorous plants. See, one of the example for insectivorous plant, that is pitcher plant. What is pitcher? What is the meaning of the word pitcher? One more picture is there, P-I-C-T-U-R-E. There is a picture on the wall. That is not, it is P-I-T-C-H-E-R. Pitcher is just like a pot like this, which is made of clay. It is called a pitcher. And like the same, there is one kind of plant, and it is called as picture plant. It is called as picture plant. See, it is called as picture plant. And the picture is given here. And see, what does it eat? And this too cannot prepare food for themselves, and it eats small flies like mosquitoes and all. And that is the reason these picture plants eats insects, and that is the reason why it is known as insectivorous plants. Have you seen these kind of pictures, insectivorous plants? And see, have you seen or heard plants that can eat animals? There are a few plants which can trap insects and digest them. Underline that. There are some of the plants, no, they trap insects and eat them, and such plants are called the insectivorous plants. For example, pitcher plant. And this word is very easy to remember. See, the shape of this plant is like pitcher, and that is the reason it is called as pitcher plant. Okay, see. Such plants may be green or some of the other color. Look at the plant in 1.6. All the I showed you in 1.6. See, the pitcher-like or jet-like structure is the modified part of leaf, and this is the modified part of the leaf. Actually, it's a leaf, but this is the modified part of the leaves, and which help these kind of plants to trap the insects. The apex of the leaves forms a lid. Actually, we use lids now in the kitchen in order to cover the food items and all. In the same manner, there is a lid. See, when the insect sits here now, and there is some jelly-like structure is there. When it sits there, automatically the lid will be closed, and the insects will be trapped there. And that is what is explained here. See, the apex of the leaf forms a lid which can open and close the mouth of the pitcher. I have told you there is a lid at the mouth of the pitcher plant. Inside the pitcher, there are hair which are directed downwards, and there are small hairy shapes. Something is there, and it is directed downwards. So once the insects go inside, it cannot come back. At the same time, the lid will be closing and the insect will be trapped there. Okay, see. When an insect lands in the pitcher, the lid closes and the trapped insect gets entangled into the hair. Hair-like structure is there now, and that is the reason why the insects, once it goes down, it cannot come back. The lid closes and the insect is trapped. The insect is digested by the digestive juices secreted in the pitcher, and its nutrients are absorbed. Such insect-eating plants are called the insectivorous plants. Hope you understand. It is very simple. By seeing the picture, you could easily understand. And there may be a chance to get a question about insectivorous plants. So you must read this paragraph the way how an insect is trapped in a pitcher plant. The process has to be learned very well. Just imagine, this nature is a wonder. See, we know animals may eat other animals or insects, whereas a plant does. So it's one of the natures of wonder now. Since it cannot prepare food for itself, it traps the insect by using this pitcher-shaped leaves, and the insects will be trapping here. And as I told you, just like a lid, one lid is there nearby the mouth. When the insect comes and sits here, automatically the lid will be closing and the insect will be trapping there. And this process has to be learned very well. Okay, anyhow, it's time to stop. We finish this lesson tomorrow. One more class is enough. We can finish this lesson the next day. If I finish this lesson tomorrow, day after tomorrow, you will be writing the first unit test. So whatever the notes I gave you, you must read well. And tomorrow, the entire notes, whatever I told regarding this lesson, the entire notes will be sending the next day. Okay, thank you.